Okay, my name is Mitchell Meyer. My speech is called Evolution of the Ford Mustang. Alright, evolve or die. Alright, this is a quote from Eckhart Tolle. It's maybe a little too extreme for what I'm talking about today, but we're going to go with it. Alright, so what that has to do with is society today and business. Saying today's economy, you must evolve or you cease to exist. And what I'm going to look at mainly is car businesses. Say, in more specifically the Ford Mustang. According to 0to60times.com, dead car companies have met their demise for a host of reasons. This could be not meeting demands, not being innovative enough, things like that. But throughout all the years, the Mustang has managed to evolve and stay relevant in society. And the first one I'm going to look at is the first generation Mustang. It was 1964 to 73. It's the first one that came out. What was popular at the time was a muscle car that was also family oriented a little bit. People were looking for light and fast cars and also looking for cool looking cars with cool designs, cool lines like the Corvette for instance. But a lot of people were looking for more affordable cars. So what Ford put out was a four-seat car that had a back seat, unlike the Ford Thunderbird at the time. It had low prices because they reused parts from previous models that Ford already had, and they had several different options from a V6, and they ended up adding a V8 and 65 to meet the more powerful car owners. This lasted up until 73 until they moved on. Actually, I got pictures of the first generations, as you see the cool lines. Cool. Alright, second generation. This is what I call like the James Bond era. People were into like smaller, sporty foreign sport cars, and like the Aston Martin, Jaguars, things like that. So people were looking for small, quicker sport coupes. Fuel efficiency was also a big thing. In 1973, there was an oil crisis, so that was also of concern to people. So what Ford did, they reduced the overall size of the car. They offered one series called the mile per gallon Stallion, which obviously is a more fuel efficient car, a little less power. They changed the overall look to mirror the smaller body. As you can see there, it kind of looks more smaller, sport coupe-ish. This was actually a down year for the Mustang. Sales went down, not as cool looking. You don't see these around very often anymore. Then, as they move on, people were into bigger cars, four-person cars, something with options, a lot of speed and power. Alright, so what Ford did, they came out with 9 different available options for this car. There's from a Cobra, a Turbo GT, all different types of interior options, exterior options. So they gave you plenty of options as far as consumer goes. This was the Fox body year, and they also reintroduced the rear seat. While it might not be spacious, it still had the option to seat 4 people. As you see, there's a picture, a couple options. These are just some of them, some of the different ones. They offer different like V6, V8 engines to try to appeal to mass amounts of people. The 4th generation, this one was people looking for newer designs, futuristic looking cars. They don't want like their old typical styles. They want something new, something fresh. They want to have a bunch of options. People are also looking for a lot of power these days, kind of getting more into drag racing era. So then what Ford came out with was their S95 option, SN95 option, which it's probably the most futuristic looking one of them, I would say. It might be a personal opinion, but it was the most different. They offered many different options as far as interior, exteriors, convertibles, engine options. Also this year they introduced a new 4.6 liter single overhead cam V8 engine, which is pretty good, a lot of power. You still see quite a few of these around. This is 94 to 2004, so you still see quite a few of these. Picture a couple of them. That was actually my first car. No big deal. Then 5th generation. This is 2005 to present. This is probably my favorite as far as the Mustang goes. People are looking for more classic cars, so classic designs. So they were also a Ford. So what Ford did, they redesigned it to kind of mirror the 60s look of the Ford Mustang to appeal to younger yet older versions of consumers. They reintroduced the GT500 and Boss Mustangs, which if you aren't into cars, just those are pretty big deals in the car world. They also had many different types of engine upgrades to help with things like that. You can see the tops, GT500. This is actually my current car. So I threw in some personal pictures in here. So, I mean, you also, not only have to evolve, you also have competitors. You gotta stay ahead of the curve. Ford's always had competition, whether it be from Dodge with their Charger and Challengers, the Camaros. They must be ready to change and meet demands to stay ahead of the competition. In an article in USA Today, Ford beat Camaro. Ford actually lost to Camaro in 2011, but changed their style in 2012 and actually outsold for all 2012. This is according to Auto Data. And then I figured I might as well ask my grandpa. He was a Ford dealer for 40-something years. He had a couple quotes. One is, has always remained a main competitor in the muscle car race for more than a half a century. So, as you can see, I mean, it's always up to the company or the consumer that you need to update and change in order to stay relevant and stay up to date in society. And that's about all I got.